ever have those days where your energy crashes, your focus is nowhere to be found, and productivity feels impossible? Yeah, me too. Running on empty, struggling with motivation, and feeling totally burnt out, it is the absolute worst. That's why I use Alter Nutraceuticals. These supplements have been a lifesaver for me on days when I just don't have it in me. They help boost focus, productivity, and fat burning while supporting weight management and cognitive health. And the best part, it's all natural energy. No jitters, no crashes, just real results. If you're ready to finally feel in control of your energy and performance, head to alternutraceuticals.com and make sure to use the code GOALPRENEUR for 10% off your order. Trust me, your future self will thank you. Today's guest is an email marketing legend, Jay Schwedelson. He is the brains behind subjectline.com, aka the free tool that every smart marketer secretly uses to boost their open rates. And with over 15 million subject lines tested, yeah, I said million. Jay knows exactly what makes people click. He's also the founder of Guru Media Hub and the host of Guru Conference. It is the biggest email marketing event on the planet. His podcast, Do This, Not That for Marketers, it hit #1 out of 50,000 shows in the US. And when he is not schooling us on subject lines, his agency, Outcome Media, is out here running 40,000 plus campaigns a year for top global brands. Basically, if you ever wanted to send an email and wanted someone to actually open it, Jay is your go-to guy. So let's dive right in.
I'm excited to be here. This is going to be
Thank
fun.
you.
Thanks for having me.
Yes. Thank you so much for being here. So I did put out a couple questions to my audience. I got some responses of questions that they are just dying to know. So if you're cool with it, we're just going to jump right in.
I'm an open book. Whatever you got, I'm ready.
Okay. So you are like, I call you Mr. Marketing.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, Mr. Marketing. So you are the king of email marketing, subject lines. So when you send out an email, does the length of the email depend on how successful it is? Like, are shorter emails better or longer ones, in your opinion?
That's a great question. So the first thing you have to think about is who you're sending it to, because if you're sending it to either prospects or relatively new customers, it's a very different population of people than if you're sending to people that have been customers for a long time, that are loyal to your brand. And the reason I say that is a prospect or relatively new customer, they barely opened an email. They haven't drank the Kool-Aid yet thinking that you're awesome. And you need to make sure that those emails are pretty much under 75 words, assuming it's not just your newsletter. You want to keep it under 75 words for that group because they don't really like you that much. Now, people that have drank the Kool-Aid, love you, totally into you, you can be more verbose, like around 150 words or so, because they want to consume whatever you've got. But the other important thing is you never want to be visually boring. What I mean by that is if you open up the email, very similar if you get a text from a friend. If you get a text from a friend, there's a big long block of words. You're like, oh my God, I can't look at that. That's drama. And you look at it later, right? But if you open up an email and anything has more than, I try to keep it less than 3 lines. I mean, 3 lines or less, but anything more than 4 lines in any text block, it doesn't matter if it says you just won $1 billion. No one's going to read it because visually it's boring. It turns you off. So you want to not just think about how many words, but you also want to think about the layout of the words. So that way people are willing to consume it just visually.
Okay. So with that, you were talking, I can't remember what episode it was, but you were talking about like the call to action in the email.
Yeah.
And you need to get people to click that.
100%. You know, the buttons, the rectangular buttons that we put in our emails, we do some horrible stuff there. Whenever we send it out, the marketer or the business owner that's hitting send, we're always writing the words on those buttons from the lens of what do I want to have happen, the marketer or the person pressing send. Meaning, let's say you're trying to get them to register for something. It might say on that button the word register. Or if you're promoting a piece of content, it might say download now. Or if it's a sale, it might say buy now. These are all things that you want the recipient to do, but really you need to reframe it what is in it for them. And when you change your call to action buttons and you write them in first person, your click through rates will rise over 25%. What do I mean? So let's say we were promoting some kind of event, like a virtual event, a webinar, whatever. What would you rather click on? Register or save my spot, right? Register or I want in. And instead of, buy now, it's yes, exclamation mark, I want to save 25% off, where the person is all of a sudden inserted into the dialogue and they don't realize it, but in their subconscious, they're much more likely to click on it. So reframing your call to action buttons into first person might be the easiest thing you can do to increase your click through rate.
Okay. So I started implementing that,
Uh-oh.
and my open rates, they're like mid to high 50s into the 60s. And
Nice.
before, when I was doing register,
Yeah.
sign up,
Yeah.
when I was using the boring ones, it was like hardly anybody was opening them. Even
Yeah.
I would send another version of that email, and still it was like crickets.
Yeah, and that's a funny thing about email. When people say to me, email doesn't work for me or it doesn't work, I'm like, that's just because you're not paying attention to the smallest, littlest things. And a word here or there, in the subject line, in the body of the email, how you're structuring the mail, there's no one thing you're going to do, but these little things can add up and radically change the outcome. And it's just paying attention to like that small stuff like you did.
Yeah, yeah. So the other question that I had come through was like your marketing calendar.
Oh, yeah.
So I posted that in one of my groups because I'm like, this is what I use. I
Right.
got that last year at one of your events. I'm like, okay, this is really cool. So I noticed those days I was getting more open rates.
Uh-huh.
And when I posted it in this group, they're like, well, how does he know that those dates? How can he predict what's
Right.
going to be best for 2025?
Right. That's fair. So just to put some color around all of that. So we put out this calendar every year, the best and worst days to send out your email campaigns. We do one for business marketers, one for consumer marketers, and we do red days are bad, green days are good, and it's free calendar. Anybody can get it, right? And the reality of that calendar, we do get a lot of questions about. So my agency, which I don't talk about a lot, Outcome Media, we do demand generation work for lots of the biggest brands in the country on an annual basis. We don't just do email, but in the world of email, we send out about 6 billion emails a year. That's billion. And so we
Gosh.
take all of that data and we're looking at everything you could possibly imagine, what's moving it all around. And that's how we come out with the calendar. Now, to whoever pointed out and said, hey, how can they predict all that? The answer is we can't. And the answer is that calendar 100% right? And the answer is absolutely not. Nobody could predict that because it's impossible. But we do know easy stuff like around holidays, no brainer. We know exactly like, how many days out from Easter something's going to do good or bad, right? We know, for example, other weird stuff that people don't realize. So we know that after daylight savings time, 2 or 3 days afterwards, not great. People don't realize that. That's on the calendar. They don't realize that at the end of every quarter, let's say March 31st is the end of Q1. We know if you're marketing to business professionals or people that own a business, it does really bad because they're so busy trying to wrap up their quarter. There's a lot of these dates that are not necessarily Christmas or Thanksgiving or New Year's that marketers maybe not are aware of. And so that's what the calendar helps to point out. But it's a very fluid situation. So it's really a starter. And there's so many different industries, different sectors. The bottom line is that put aside any marketing calendar that exists. If there's any day or time period that is taboo, you're like, we never, let's say you're sending out to people, you go, we never send out on the weekends because of whatever. That's nonsense. Everything has changed really in the last 18 months or so. And so you want to take anything that's taboo in your marketing. We'll never put the word free in our subject line. We'll never send out on the weekends. We'll never send out at 6 a.m. We'll never do this. Whatever the never do thing is, that is the first thing immediately that I would test because it's probably the thing that's going to work.
Yeah, I remember you saying something about that one of your episodes, and I don't remember which one it was. Um, I think it was Amy Porterfield. You had said in her subject line, like right in the middle, she used
No,
all caps.
that's right. Yeah.
Is
That
that
was a
it?
cool tactic, yeah, and it's something that I don't think people are testing enough, which is this idea of all capital letters in the subject line. For years, people thought that and still think that the reason they go to the junk folder or the spam folder in the subject line is because they're putting things in the subject line. Like they think they can't write the word free in the subject line, or they can't capitalize a word or use an emoji or use an exclamation mark because they think that the reason you go to the junk or spam folder is because the words you write in your subject line or in your headline. That was the case 10 years ago. Technology changed. The reason you stay in the in the inbox is nothing to do with the words you're putting in that subject line or the symbols. It has to do with engagement overall. And so everyone should feel a little bit liberated that yes, you can in the subject line write the word free. You can use an exclamation mark, use an emoji. And one of the things that Amy does, which I've copied, which works really well, is this idea of capitalizing an entire word mid subject line. So literally in the middle of whatever your subject line is, let's say the word new, you would capitalize all the letters, NEW, because it stands out just a little bit. And that's the game, is when somebody's doing that social scroll, in their inbox, what are you going to do to get that millisecond pause for them to actually check out what you're doing? And this mid-sentence capitalization is a cool little tactic that most people don't do.
I feel like we are just bombarded every day
Yeah,
with
for
emails.
sure. Oh, 100%.
Loads of emails.
Yeah.
And some of them, I don't even know how they end up in my inbox. Never registered for them. I don't even know how they got my email address, but
Yeah.
I'm now getting these emails. It's like unsubscribe, unsubscribe. So, what is it? I do absolutely love subjectline.com.
Oh,
I use it every time I send out an email. And actually, one of my podcasts that I did solo, I could not stop saying that word. It was and I mentioned it in the podcast because I'm like, I sound like a freak right now because I'm constantly saying subjectline.com.
Thank you.
But it's like, I need people to understand, use this tool. It's
Well,
going to change your email marketing and your open rates.
it's funny you say that, and I appreciate it. Thank you. And by the way, subjectline.com is totally free. So I don't make any money from subjectline.com. And, in general, it's a tactic. The idea of subjectline.com is great for any business that's out there. And the reason I say that is um, if you can create a tool, a free tool for whatever it is that you do, something simple, right? And you can invest a little bit of money in buying a domain that speaks to exactly that thing, right? Let's say that you have a fitness business and it says, thecaloriecounter.com, whatever it is, right? And you can put it out there for free and for people to use it the way that my company did with subjectline.com. It gives you this halo effect that people look at you and think that you are a thought leader in that category, really because that tool exists. So it's a great thing because it's a free resource for people. It works. It helps people. But I also think in terms of a marketing tactic, having a tool like that for your business, and it's very important to invest in the domain to make that URL kind of like stupid proof, I think is a game changer for whatever business you're in.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So just out of my own curiosity,
Yeah.
like how do you know what subject
Sure.
lines are going to perform? How did you
Yeah.
test those?
Yeah, so we're constantly testing them, and we're constantly trying to update all the data behind that. And really, what's happening is we have a feeder. So my agency, like I said, we send out 6 billion emails a year. We do something around 35,000 campaigns. So and every one of those campaigns, I would say not everyone. I would say the majority of the campaigns are running an A/B split, meaning every time we hit send, something is being tested in every one of those campaigns, especially in the subject line. And so we have this whole feeder system that's like, okay, what was tested in that subject line? Was it the length of the subject line, the time of day it went out? Was there, a question subject line? Was it written whatever? And then that's a feeder wherever we see the most common things that are actually working. And the weird thing is, and this is the crazy part about email, about marketing in general, it's always changing. I'll give you an example, like one word. There was the word hurry. Like a year ago, the word hurry did horrible. If you put hurry in the subject line, didn't do well at all.
Hmm.
And then we saw like 6 months ago, it started doing really well. And now it's a good performing word. And it's things like that that like keep me up at night because it's like, wow, I said to myself, I'm never going to do X, Y, and Z, whatever the marketing tactic is. But things just change. Our minds change. The way that we react to things changes. So that's where we're always retesting, trying to update. And that's what I encourage everybody to do. Anything that you've written off, you probably need to go back and retest.
Yeah. I feel like the algorithm
Yeah.
changes constantly. What people are doing changes
Yeah.
constantly. It's like,
Totally.
how on earth do you ever keep up?
You don't. And you have to, you know what? And I think you have to also be very real with yourself that, good is great, right? Perfection is the enemy of progress. I swear by that. I live by that because if you're waiting to get it just right, oh, I'm not sending out this email yet because it's got to be perfect. It's got to be like, who cares? Send it
Yeah.
out. And if it does horrible, nobody remembers. Send out another one the next day. Just get it out the door. It does not matter. And I think people think that other people care. Nobody cares about your social posts. Nobody cares about your email. Nobody cares about anything. So don't worry if it's not perfect. Getting out the door is just worth it.
Yeah. And it's funny that you brought that up because on a post today I saw, I'm just reading my notes. It said consistency over intensity, progress over
Yep.
perfection, fundamentals over fads.
I mean, it's consistency is everything. And I'll be very real. I don't consider myself a particularly bright individual. Okay. And the reason I say that is that I talk to people like this person's brilliant. I'm like blown away. I get off a Zoom like that's like a really smart human being. But what I do know, what I do fundamentally believe is that being consistent. If you are consistent, you'll beat 95% of everybody on the planet because everybody gives up. They'll start a podcast, okay? They'll quit a podcast after 10 episodes. They'll start a newsletter. They'll quit it after 3 editions. They'll start posting on Instagram or LinkedIn. They'll quit after 3 months. Whatever it is, people they say they won't quit, but they quit. And
Mhm.
if you just don't quit, you just keep going, you iterate, you try to get a little better every single time, and you never quit, you will beat 95% of people because the overwhelming majority of people, brilliant people, they quit. And that's what happens.
Yeah. So, what, in your opinion, like what makes a superb marketer versus just like somebody that's average?
That's a great question. I think that the average marketer is checking a box, meaning that they're like, okay, did I get out a social media post today? Did I get they say to themselves, I need to post every day on, Instagram or LinkedIn or whatever. And they'll be like for their brand account or a personal account, did I post today? Yes, I did. Check the box. I did that. That is not the recipe for success. Did what I posted, was this good? Was this something that people are going to want to consume? Is this a piece of garbage? Right? If you're checking the box, like I got it out the door, I got the newsletter out the door, I got the social post up, I got the podcast thing recorded, and you're like, this is not particularly worthwhile stuff I'm posting or doing. That's the difference between average and great. You don't, it seems like I'm talking out both sides of my mouth because before I was like, well, just get it out the door. Yes, get it out the door, but it can't be garbage. Make sure it's good quality content. And the way you make a good quality content is you don't make it about yourself or your brand. I'm a big fan of what Gary Vee always says. Gary Vee will say about social media or whatever it may be, what you're posting, the content you're putting out there. This idea of give, and then ask, meaning that give great content, give some interesting stat, give some free tidbit you found out, some awesome quote, whatever. And then in that fourth one or fifth one, then you say, by the way, this is what I do. This is why I'm awesome. Check me out. I think the overwhelming majority of marketers are saying, I'm great, I'm great, I'm great. And they barely are really presenting themselves as a thought leader or providing anything useful. So I think thinking that through is the difference.
Yeah. You provide so much value on your
Oh,
podcast. Do this, not that.
thank you.
I mean, you talk and with what else was there? Your bathroom break
Oh,
episodes.
right. Yeah, those are ridiculous.
Awesome.
Thanks.
But they're entertaining. So you have Do This Not That podcast, you have
Yeah,
those episodes, you have the bathroom break, you have
right.
what is it? Ask Me Anything.
Right. So the podcast is really, and I have to tell you, this is another weird thing in a marketer's life or a business owner's life, which is doing things that are not scalable or sustainable. I think it's important to do things that hold you accountable, right? So the podcast is a heavy lift for me. We put out 5 episodes a week, which is absolutely torturous. because I also have 2 companies and I have 2 kids. I'm like, the whole thing, right? And so it's not something that's sustainable, and yet here I am almost 2 years in doing it. And so the question is, why do I do it that way? And the only reason I do it that way is because it gets us traction. And I'm like, I'm just gonna find the time. Somehow, some way, I'm gonna get up earlier, I'm gonna find the time, whatever. And what I've learned about the podcast stuff is that you could become wallpaper podcasting. And we've tried to break the mold. Everybody out there does, long form interviews, which are fine. It's hard to break through doing that. And that's why we do these weird formats. We do Ask Us Anything. We do the news of the week. We do a tips episode. We do all the bathroom break, because you kind of have to do things a little bit differently if you want to stand out. But don't be scared of doing something that does not fit into your life. You just have to find more time. That's all.
Yeah, yeah. I love that you don't try to conform.
Yeah.
You try to break the mold. You
Try.
think outside of the box. I mean, I think that's what makes you you
That's
and
nice.
super valuable. Like your podcast episodes are what, 15 minutes
Yeah, that's the
long,
magic number. So
maybe?
we found that anything under 20 minutes is kind of the secret sauce. And once we did that, it skyrocketed us up the charts, because when we first started out, this thing was like dead on arrival. Nobody was listening. And then once we got the episodes under 20 minutes, almost every episode's under 15 minutes, um, that really allowed us to move really, really fast up the charts.
Yeah. I think those quick nuggets of information, I mean, those are consumable.
Yeah,
You're in the car, you're running somewhere, pop on the podcast, you can listen. You're on the treadmill, whatever, you listen. The long format episodes, I do have some of those. It's like, okay,
I know. That's how I
sometimes
feel.
it's just torture. And listening to long form episodes, sometimes torture.
Agreed.
But the quick nuggets of information, everybody wants quick wins.
Yep.
They want
That's
a
exactly
quick
right.
win. They want something super actionable that they can start doing right now, because I think that's the time that we live in. They want something done like yesterday.
Well, and I would add into that, for everybody out there thinking about your own media that you're putting out there, short form video, it's the most important thing for your business right now. And the reason I say that is just this week, Google has updated the tabs on google.com to include a tab that now says short videos, which they didn't have before, which is really all basically TikTok videos and YouTube short videos. YouTube shorts are getting front and center on YouTube, so short form video there. And TikTok is about to finalize their deal with Oracle in the United States, which is going to make them be not only here forever, but TikTok's going to be bigger than ever for both business and consumer marketers in the US. And so short form video is going to be so important for everyone's business. This idea of making, these shorter videos with quick tips and everything. If I could tell anybody to do any one thing, it would be to double down on short form video.
Smart.
Yeah.
Okay. That's good. I want to switch gears because I know we're getting towards the end of our time limit. AI.
Yeah.
You're big on AI.
Yeah.
I can't remember what episode I was just listening to about investing in the upgrade AI version.
Of ChatGPT. Yeah.
Yeah, or ChatGPT. How are you using that in your businesses?
So, well, first off, publicly, in terms of what people can use from us, if you go to subjectline.com and you put your subject line in, you not only get a score, but it rewrites it for you using AI a bunch of different ways. That's pretty basic functionality. Within my company, we have some sophisticated stuff going on. So all my developers and all my salespeople and everybody, because my agency is about 100 or so people, they're able to analyze a lot of data and a lot of client campaigns using AI, and it's kind of like a whole sophisticated thingamabob. But the reason I'm a big fan, ChatGPT has a $20 version a month. And I get it. That's still money, and that's $20 that you could spend elsewhere. But your ability to interact with ChatGPT without limitations, which is what you get on the free version, there's a lot of limitations there. If you spend the $20 a month, there's a few things that you could do that you can't do with the free version. First off, you have no limitations. You can search it a billion times. Okay. And that's great. The other thing that you can do with the paid version is something called tasks. So with the $20 version, you could set up tasks within ChatGPT, and you can say, okay, I'll give you an example of what I do. I tell ChatGPT, I want you to scour the web every single day, and I want you to send me an email that sends me the latest marketing updates to all the different platforms, to email marketing tools. I give it a laundry list of things I want to scour the web for on anything new each day, and give it to me in a really simple format that I can digest. And I assign it that task. And every day I get this email from ChatGPT that's just incredible and allows me to stay up to date with everything. Now imagine that's your sector, that's your industry. And I probably have 30 tasks that I have ChatGPT doing now, just that make my life a little bit easier to know what the hell's going on the planet. Right. So things like that for $20 a month, it's changed my ability to really uh, uh, stay informed, which is
Mhm.
hard to do. So that's why I'm a big fan of it. I don't work for ChatGPT. I don't get any money from saying that. Don't get the $200 version a month. That's a ripoff. Just get the $20 a month version.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I have. That's what I upgraded to. And I found it to be way more useful,
Yeah,
better responses. Like it's
totally.
serving me in my business. It's making my life so much easier. And $20, what that's maybe 2 Starbucks drinks.
Exactly.
I mean, you could spend that super easy. So just
Yeah,
skip Starbucks.
exactly. Which apparently my daughter says is not as cool anymore. So my daughter's 17, my son's 18, and she said Starbucks is fine, but not as cool as it was.
So what's replacing Starbucks in
Oh,
her
in
life?
her world, like these independent coffee shops, like every weekend, she's like, "Do you want to go here?" I'm like, "I don't know what that is." She goes, "It's this cool new coffee shop that no one's ever heard of." I'm like, "All right, I'll go. Whatever."
Yeah. I mean, the small businesses, you got to
Yeah.
support those. So
Oh,
I
absolutely.
totally prefer small businesses
Yeah,
over big chains.
totally agreed.
So, um, I want to talk about your free virtual event, Eventastic, coming
Yeah.
up June 5th and 6th.
Thank you.
Totally free. You
Yep.
have amazing guest speaker lined up.
Yeah.
Andy Cohen, Amy Porterfield, Kat Tooley from HubSpot, just to name a few. Why make it free versus paid?
Yeah, so this is the world's largest event about events. It's virtual and it's free. And all of our events are virtual and free. And for two reasons. Number one, first of all, I want to help marketers out there, business owners out there, all that good stuff and whatnot. But also, I like having a big tent, meaning that what is my ultimate goal? My ultimate goal is for us to be able to be connected with a lot of people, to be thought of as thought leaders in the different categories that we are in. So that way, when we have other stuff that we want to push, we have a population of people to push it to.
Mhm.
Right. And I think a lot of times people are like, well, I don't want to make it free because it's all this hard work. I need to monetize it and all that stuff. And what I found is that, okay, so like our email conference, we'll get about 25,000 people at our email conference. If I charged for it, we might get 1,000 people at that conference. And it changes the dynamic of what we then can do in terms of follow up with all those people. So I'm a big believer of casting a wide net. And you bring up Amy Porterfield or Jenna Kutcher or a lot of the folks out there, they do a lot of these free events to get the hand raisers saying, yeah, I'm interested in that topic. And then they're now in their database, they're in their thing, and now they can market to them all sorts of different products and services. So I'm a big fan of making sure you can find your tribe, find who the people are that are interested in the thing, and then figure out what else you could push to them. So that's why we try to keep all of our stuff free, and the content's real deal. We don't push anything on you while you're there at all. So you can register for it, eventastic.com. And then we're opening up this week our registration for our big email event, which is virtual and free. That's guruconference.com. And that's opening up later this week.
Awesome. I will definitely attend that one. Last year was my first event with you.
Oh, no.
And I'm like, oh, let's check this out. I was blown away. Like the information, it was so great. It was entertaining and
Oh,
it was
good.
fast paced. It was fast paced. Like it grabbed attention.
Oh, that's good. Were you there for Sarah Jessica Parker?
I was not.
You missed Sarah Jessica Parker. She
I
was
did.
great, but I wait until we have the craziest keynote this year. I can't wait to announce it. It's going to blow your mind.
Oh, so yeah, you haven't, it's not
We
even
haven't
on the
told anybody
website
yet.
yet.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
And before I let you go, trash TV,
Oh my God, of
seriously? Okay,
course.
was that you or your wife?
It's me,
Who?
but she follows my lead. She's all in.
No.
Yes. When you say trash TV, are you telling me The Bachelor, Love is Blind? I mean, you name it, I will watch it. Do you not watch any of this?
No.
Why?
Like, I feel it's rotting my brain. I
Why?
did check out Love is Blind because I'm like, Okay, I think I was scrolling through and I'm like, what the heck is this? So Love
Nice.
is Blind. Checked it out and my kids were watching it with me. And
Good.
they're like, so people are getting married and they haven't even
Yes.
met?
Yes.
Like, apparently that's where we're at now.
See?
I
See?
mean, and The
Listen.
Bachelor, don't even get me started on The Bachelor. I've never watched an episode.
See? You're judging. It's
Ugh.
what do you watch? What Masterpiece Theater? What do you watch?
I you're gonna think I'm a total nerd. I love Frasier.
The old Frasier?
Yes.
I
Frasier, Golden Girls,
I mean,
Reacher, like,
what is going on here? Okay, I mean, you
come on,
it
those were good shows.
these were good shows, like, Three's Company. I love that show, like, 25 years ago, I love that show. I
Yeah.
mean, you got okay, I'm gonna tell you, reality TV is amazing. There and you wanna be a part of these people's lives, and then they go away, and then you get to meet new people. It's like I used to watch Days of Our Lives when I was in college instead of going to class.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, and it's just like Days of Our Lives. It's the same thing. I remember when, it was I just loved it all. So it's like today's soap opera.
Oh my gosh. So back in the 2000s,
Yeah,
my oldest, she's gonna be 24 now, but she and I would watch The Biggest Loser.
that's great. I
So
love
I'm
The Big
like,
Loser.
okay, this is what happens. Like, I wanted to get her used to like a healthier lifestyle from a young age. That was
Yeah,
important to me. And he said, look at this. This is what happens when you take your
yeah,
life and not care about it anymore and eat like crap
yes,
and are super inactive. Like, this is what happens later in life. But
yeah.
we watched so many seasons of The Biggest Loser. She still talks about it to this day.
See, it's bonding time.
It is. It is. I may keep an open mind about Love is Blind.
Good,
I will
good,
get there.
good.
But before, so I do have to mention this.
Yeah,
My kids know you as the funny story boxer guy. So
there you go.
for my audience, go back to Jay's Do This Not This, his very first podcast, one of his
Nice.
very first podcast episodes. And he talks about being at what it was at a conference.
I was at a conference. I was in my room at I was staying in the conference hotel. I'd ordered room service, and because I didn't want to be around anybody, I want to go out to dinner. And I was just in my boxers. That's it, boxer briefs, and no shirt, no nothing. And I went to put my food outside my room that I had just finished eating, and the door closed behind me, and I was locked out of my room in the conference hotel with like 1,000 people in this hotel, and I had to suck it up. I went to the front desk. I saw everybody from the conference, and it was definitely a moment that scarred me for life. But you know what? I'm still here, so it's okay.
Yes, you're not perfect. None of us
No,
are. It's
not even a
real
little bit.
life. It
Yeah,
it happens. It's what it
yes,
is.
it is what it is.
So we are out of time. Jay, I appreciate you. I'm
I
so happy
appreciate
to meet
you.
you. And
Likewise.
this was amazing. I have like so many other questions that we could have talked about, but I think this starting point, I mean, you have so much value on your podcast. People
That's so
need to go
kind.
and listen to that. And then check out Eventtastic coming up and then Guru Marketing as well.
I
But
appreciate you. Thank you for having me on. It's been an honor to be here. Excited to keep following your journey and keep crushing it.
this was amazing. Thanks, Jay. We'll talk again soon.
All right, take it easy.
All right. Bye. Oh my gosh, that was so good, right? I hope you're walking away feeling inspired, fired up, and ready to take action. Listen, if anything in this episode resonated with you, if you had an aha moment or even just a little heart nudge, please do me a favor and share this episode. Send it to a friend, post it on your social media, and also tag me at I am Courtney Spaeth, and that way I can cheer you on. If you love hanging out here, please make sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. And also, it would mean the world to me if you left a quick review. That way, your reviews help more amazing people like you find this podcast and step into the life that they are meant for. So before I wrap up, I want to leave you with these 3 things. You are worthy of success, love, and abundance. Every step that you take brings you closer to your dreams, and you are exactly where you need to be, and you are enough just as you are. I appreciate you so much. Thanks for being here, and until next time, keep chasing those big, beautiful dreams.